get a child to dance.
I do.
So,
Dance Mom Saturday.
Sport and Life Saturday, Dance Mom Saturday. It is a complement of sporting activities. If we could find a way to like somehow August turns into like Misty Copeland or something like that, and we figure out how to get her to do ballet in like some public land area or something like that, some beautiful spot that's like, it's got to be pretty decked out. But yeah, man. So anywho, I'm here. There's a couple of components that I want to talk about in this. And, so what we're going to do first of all, everybody, thank y'all for joining Sporting Life Saturday number 2. We're going to do something a little bit different because last week, I wanted to get the content. I still need to upload it to the podcast platform. So anyway, welcome to Sporting Life Saturday. I had to go through that because I'm really more so reminding myself. And it's 8 o'clock in the morning. How are you?
I don't know. I haven't seen you in a long time, so I know you don't know how I am.
Yeah.
We don't live together, so how am I doing? I am fantastic. I haven't seen you in a while either. How are you?
I feel like it's been too long.
It's been too long.
I am trying to wake up, so y'all pardon me if I'm a little slow with the thoughts, but I had a thing that I wanted to talk to you about. And that really centers around how you are utilizing your creativity in the outdoors and for the outdoor space, and for the many people that you have impacted, and what breaking into that journey kind of entails, because you've turned quite a few heads with a spacesuit on, and I hope you continue doing that. So with that being said, we're going to start with a little story that we were talking about beforehand, the ship story. And so Ashley and I got into this conversation like a week ago, and apparently I said something super prophetic that I didn't, or super wise. Was it prophetic?
Yeah, so Darrell, I call him Sensei Darrell when he appears. Darrell can be very deep, guys. And he said something really cool, and it turned into essentially a motif that we wanted to explore.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, let's talk about the ship.
Yeah, so we've got this ship thing, and I'm actually going to illustrate this idea through AI, because y'all know I'm on my AI kick now. But I'm going to illustrate this idea, and what it is, we were talking about it, and I've noticed being an artist, now teaching myself music, you going into public speaking spaces with a spacesuit and really truly defining meaning and transforming thought. But the way that we do that, and I guess in my brain kind of works like someone diving in a very chaotic ocean, right? And that ocean is creativity. If I think about it like that, where the very, very, very top, we were talking, and you were talking about just, how unnerving it can be sometimes when you're going up on stage and things like that. And you're doing something that's very different, something that people aren't used to seeing. And that feels very turbulent, right? It feels like waves crashing. I think about big pirate ships and boom, boom, like ships fighting and shooting and blowing cannons and the waves crashing everywhere.
Cannons.
Yeah, cannons, man. We are going full Pirates of the Caribbean. We're going full Pirates of the Caribbean. And so I just think like chaotic waves and stuff like that, and everybody is trying to get a piece of something, right? On the top of that water, everybody's trying to get a piece of that. And then you yourself are in the water, in this very turbulent water, trying to be this thing among everything else, and you cannot find definition yet, but you know it's there. So you say, screw it, I'm going to go further down, I'm going to dig deeper. I'm going to swim deeper into that creativity, right? And so with that, you start to notice that the top of the water was the most chaotic part about it. As you get closer down, and as you start swimming further and further down, you start to notice that it gets quite a bit calmer. Temperatures change, things change, what you see changes. But then also, there's a larger diversity of life closer to the bottom, right? Things don't necessarily look the same. Things are brighter. It's everything like that. And once you get there, you keep pushing, you realize, boom, that's what I'm looking for. And it was way further down.
Well, yeah, so the metaphor worked really because we were talking about, not necessarily just talking about what I'm doing, we're talking about is creativity as a whole. So I'm a musician also, and we were talking about like just the journey of an artist. And if you think about, like he was saying, the ocean as creativity, and really we believe that every person is a creator. Like literally, we're all here. There are answers and solutions and creativity inside of all of us. And when you're on the top of the choppy waters, it's hard, it's just more turbulent, just because that's the surface is what receives the most contact. Think about being at the beach, and so there's not as much room up there for you to be yourself. But it's those that decide to make a commitment to be brave and dive deeply into subjects that find treasure. Treasure is not normally floating at the top. So that was the metaphor, and we were just had a very awesome conversation about it. And I think you can apply it to any form of artistry, whether it's when I go on stage and I'm giving speeches and writing poetry. I think very deeply about subjects that we haven't really been able to move past as humanity. That's my area of expertise, and one of those areas is our ability to relate to one another, although we look different on the outside. And that's what this spacesuit is all about. It's all about getting people to stretch their minds and think differently. And if you dive deep if you stay on the top of the surface, and where it's choppy and where we've been for hundreds of years, and it's, you're different, you look different than me, you think differently than me, you worship differently than me, you love differently than me, your ancestors are from a different country, you're different, you're different, you're different, and because you're different, either I'm gonna hate you or I can't understand you. Like, if you stay up there, then it's gonna your brain is gonna continue to rattle and shake because the waters are choppy down there. But if you dive deeply and think differently about the subject, for me, we're all just souls in spacesuits. Like, I am encountering souls. When I talk to someone, I am encountering a soul, a divine soul who is sent to earth just like me, who is on a journey, and we're all learning love in different ways. We're learning love as individuals, we're learning love generationally, and now you see that we're learning love as a country. We're learning love globally. We're learning love in different type of ways. And people study those things. Whatever your path calls you to, you study it in different ways. So like my husband, people always say, like, you know, we're different, but we're really alike, Darrell and I. But when he started the bird dog journey,
you talk about the space.
oh no, I'm just saying,
messing with you. Yeah,
I'm just saying, like, our ways of connecting to life. It's not that I always have to understand him. I just respect that he connects to life in different ways than I do. And that the way life works, as long as a person is committed to what calls them, you'll find your way too. You'll find your treasure too. And that's all we're doing as souls. We're all in our journey finding our treasure. And my dream for the world is to create that base level of understanding, create a critical mass of people that see the world through more loving and inclusive eyes. And the truth is, under our skin and our bones, we really are all the same. We're all just souls in spacesuits. So that's just an example of how I dive deeply into concepts. Yeah.
I still think we're pirates, bro.
We're not pirates.
So I want to actually dive into the process of your spacesuit. And really, you know me, I like to hear what triggered something, right? Like, what inspired something. And honestly, the artistry of it, you know, like, I like the way I look. That too. I envision, like, in a very Tina Turner kind of, like, rock starry kind of way, that years down the line, yeah, like, but years down the line, like this like hanging in a display, and somebody being like, dang, like, here's the materials and stuff like that, and this is what inspired it and triggered it. I think those things are kind of cool, right? So I want to talk to you about that, but I want to acknowledge a couple of comments first. Maya's here.
Hi. My cousin?
Maya is here. Good morning.
Hi, cousin.
Richard had some really kind words from Fellowship of the Outdoors. Thank you, sir, and everybody for joining. Real quick, we are talking about a number of things involving creativity, but really focusing on spacesuits. Jared Wickland is the man. Richard, I'm excited to get back on the phone with you, and I want to talk further about that. So I have not forgotten, my man. And for those of y'all that just joined, this also will be played back in the podcast as well. So anywho, because I know we ain't got a lot of time, I want to, what creativity, I made this statement on Facebook or something, where creativity sometimes is born of ignorance, right? And I think people take ignorance to be this bad thing, and it, most of the time it can be, depends on what we're talking about. But in this sense, I mean the true and purest form of not knowing, ignorance, the thing, just literally not knowing. And so many times I've been on this journey with you, and we have done something and not known what that bad boy was going to look like on the other side. And this is another extension of that journey and that metaphor of not really knowing. And in a lot of ways, I think it's kind of dope when we figured out how to get you in space on your show, right? As far as the setting, I feel like that is also kind of a metaphor for you going into some kind of an unknown, right? When people go to space, you don't know. There are two people up in space right now that's going to be stuck until February.
Well, we're going to send love and light to them.
We're going, yeah.
And to their families, because that is very scary.
That's very scary. Absolutely. And but that is that pursuit in the unknown. And either way, those people are doing a fantastic and larger than life calling job. I see you without being stuck up there in a similar light, in a role, you know what I'm saying? And so how did you get to, what was the truth bomb? What happened? Where did you get to with the spacesuit? How did we get here?
Yeah. So, as you guys may or may not know, I get hired a lot to go give keynote speeches, and particularly just because of the era we're living in, a particular client was like, listen, I need you to talk about cohesion and help these people. I need you to bring people together, but do it in the way that you do it. And let's talk about inclusion and diversity. Just do it in the way that you do it. And I've been called upon to speak in that manner a number of times. And when you're called upon and paid to speak to organizations, the boss of an organization is calling you and counting on you to bring a different level of thought, different vibe, to bring cohesion to their organization, knowing that at the end of the day that affects their bottom line. That's a lot of responsibility. And I also understand just the responsibility I have of always think of one day I'm going to be old, or one day when I'm called to leave my spacesuit and it's time for me to pass away, as we all do. I want to be looking at my creator, and I want to say that I did what I was called to do. I left my spacesuit empty. Everything, every gift that was inside of it, everything that I was called to do, I was brave enough to do it, even if no one saw it, And I asked God for a sign. I'm very transparent about who I am. I pray a lot. It is the bedrock of who I am, is the constitution of my being. I don't even know how to function without praying, truly.
This is true. I use it when I need it to, but I cash in when I need to.
Oh,
Go
please.
ahead.
No, he prays to you. He just likes to joke around about it. But so truly that's who I am. And so I prayed, man, and I was praying, and I was just like, God, what, you got me up here talking to these people, and sometimes I'm going into rooms of 600-700 people and nobody looks like me, which I am used to doing just because of how I went to school. That's not the hard part. The hard part is discussing subject matters like this. And it's okay, how am I going to say this, And I heard very clearly in a dream after I prayed, we're all just souls in spacesuits. God gave me that phrase literally in a dream. I just heard it. And then I the direction was to order a spacesuit. So I went on Amazon and I literally ordered a spacesuit. And what's funny is before I went to go give this speech in Missouri, the first place I gave it was in Springfield, Missouri. He was like, because we talked before we have engagements and events and things going up. And he was like, so you ready for Missouri? And I was like, looked at him. And I was like, God told me to order a spacesuit.
Yeah, I had no idea this happened.
Yeah,
like, we done got all the way out there.
No. This is Missouri. I went by myself. We were sitting in the bedroom. I was packing, and you asked me.
Was that what it was? I didn't know it was.
You didn't know that I was getting ready to
Yeah.
So we're sitting there. I'm packing for Missouri. He stayed, because sometimes we have to split up. You stayed behind. You stayed here with the kids. Mm-hmm. You asked me. Are you ready for Missouri? Like, you were ready to go do your thing, give your speech.
Okay.
And then I said, well, God told me to order a spacesuit. The way my husband looked at me, he looked at me like, okay. And I pulled it out. Like, I pulled out the Amazon wrapping, and he was like, okay. Like, and we've gotten to the place, because we're both creatives and we're both artists, we might not always understand each other, but he was like, well, I know you're gonna rock it. Like
that jump went over me, man.
He had no clue. But back to your question.
Super cool. Even me, like I had never.
We do that to each other. I mean, I don't always see where you're going, but this is going back to your original question. Is that when you choose to live a life of creativity, you're choosing to live a life of faith. Creativity and faith are inextricably linked. There's not even if people don't call it that, there's not an artist on this planet that isn't operating in faith. You have to, because these ideas are coming to you and through you, and you decide to execute them. You decide to paint the painting. You decide to write the song. You decide to write the poem. You decide to give the speech. Whatever it is, you decide to teach yourself guitar, in your case, Darrell. Like, it is a walk of faith. But for me, that is how ideas come forth. That is how new worlds are born. Like, everything that we're experiencing now, I'm sure we all remember being in school and we're studying like the Renaissance period, and we're studying all these periods of art and everything, and it's cool to look back and study it. And I remember looking back and studying those people when we were in school. But the truth is, a time will come where people will look back and study our time period, and those who are brave enough to stand up for that which is rooted in love will be studied, and those things will be in museums. Those things will be in libraries. Those things will be taught in classrooms. And so for me, that question of willing to go out in space, I'm willing to go wherever I have to go to get humanity to a different level of thought, meaning that we can't solve any problem from the same level of mind that we created it. And we created, that's not my quote. It's eluding me. If anybody feels like Googling it, you can't solve a problem from the same level of mind that you created it. And so whenever I am creating, that is where I always start. And so whether spacesuits is something that millions of people accept or not, or just wherever it goes, it is a concept, it's a conduit, it's a portal to let us get to another level of mind. And if I can get a critical mass of people to start looking at each other as souls, then we can love differently, and we can relate differently, and we can work differently. And that's my intention with this motif.
Well, and I to piggyback off of what you just said, you can't get to new places by essentially taking the same route all the time and staying in the same place. I know Amanda's on here too. We guide together and stuff like that, and we have run into that issue, right? For me, being a wing shooting guy, that is a tremendous amount of creativity and thought to change on a dime, right? And when you're not successful, or you're not even, I ain't gonna say not successful, for me, when I'm out in the woods, I'm not seeing the type of success that I want. Well, maybe it's because I've been going in the same path. You see what I'm saying? Maybe it's because I haven't changed course, I haven't done something, but then creatively, right? Like that's more field ingenuity and changing habit. But then we come to something like this, right?
Talking about the painting?
This painting, right? I mean, even that was me going into a new direction, right? Taking a story that I was told, by Andrew, not knowing anything about the landscape, right? Not knowing, and trying to generate an image from nothing, like from darkness. And I mean like a full-on abstract painting, and to take different new measures, this big old pecan sign, like, or if it's guitar, right? I'm always finding something, and I always find myself, and I said this in the newsletter, if for folks that read it, I keep finding myself involved in things that take a lot of discipline, make you really vulnerable, and force you to break through fear to get to a solution, right? If for me, guitar, finding a way to inject it into this show, into this podcast, because that is a deeper expression of who I am, right? That is what I feel compelled to do.
That's it.
It was the same with dogs, right? And I was compelled to have pointers that ran out of the country for the longest time. And now we're changing that, right? The tone of things are changing. The pace of things are changing, right? And what people want to see, what they want to digest, that is changing. And I think you yourself have moved very swiftly and effectively with the changing of times, right? I think in 2020, how people were receiving information, whether it be about diversity, inclusion, equity, climate, this, that, whatever, I think people are no longer in that space that we were then. So that the information has to look different. It has to be presented different, in a completely different context in order for people to receive it. And right now, I think you are also very timely with the spacesuit. And again, that just shows to me when you are pulling and manifesting from a place of authenticity and just pure creation, your ideas are timeless. This is a timeless idea. Your ideas are timeless because they came when they were supposed to, right? Sure. Stevie Wonder just had that song. Stevie Wonder don't make songs like that, not all the time anymore.
Also, Stevie Wonder has a new song called Can We Heal Our Nation's Heart? And it is just so aligned with like our messaging, and it's affirmation and confirmation that we're writing and thinking and creating in the same vein. But I appreciate what you're saying, but I really want to go back to what you were saying about how you choose paths that require vulnerability, you choose paths that require discipline, and you choose paths that require faith. And that's what I love about you. Like, it doesn't matter. Well, that's one of the things. I love that.
Good looking dude.
Yeah, Vogue for him. Oh God, watch out. So, anyway, so one of the things that I like and love about you is that you do run head first into that. Like you like if there's gonna be some discipline, I'm in it. If it's gonna be some vulnerability, some run to figure it out, I'm in it. And we actually are both like that. We just do it in different ways.
In strikingly different ways,
but we both do it. And to me, that's what life's all about. Like, I don't care how you do it. Like, everybody listening to us, there's something that you're called to do that requires those elements. And if you are brave enough, you wrote me this really beautiful status. We'll pull it up when we go back and edit this. He wrote me this really beautiful status, and kind of going back to that motif of the ocean. I think it was on my last birthday. And he said that, I read it when I get like in moments of like just self-doubt, because that's just being human. But essentially there's a line in the caption that he wrote to me for my birthday that says, "You are the rising tide that lifts all boats for those who are brave enough to sail your seas."
I remember that,
Yeah, that was really beautiful. You feel really
since they do real, man.
Romantic.
Since they do
A
real.
little romantic sometimes. But it really resonated with me. And then just going back to that motif that we started with, the ocean, you're like that too. And any artist is really like, if you are brave enough, for those who are really locked in and have decided to create from their hearts, know that when people are creating from their hearts, they are encountering themselves. You cannot create, I'm just telling you the process. You cannot create without encountering your fears.
Yep.
You cannot create without encountering yourself, without looking in your mirror, like having to look in the mirror. You cannot create without questioning yourself and your purpose, realizing your weaknesses. And are you brave enough to become strong? Like, does it matter enough for you? You cannot create without feeling naked, without feeling vulnerable. Like you're saying, like, so as you guys know, my husband's teaching himself guitar. Do you know how, I mean, he's built up the muscle, but it's not easy to learn and fail in front of people. But you care so much about what you're called to create that all that dissipates. And so that's what we're all called to do. We're called to brave the ocean, to dive deep and to find the treasure. And for those who are brave enough to swim and get through that, you find treasure. So you do it too, and I've seen you run head first into that with many subjects, and I think that's what makes a fulfilling life. I pray that we are 97 and like still staring at each other, and I just pray that like we're looking at each other like, dang, we were brave as crap. Like we were so brave, and even not just that our children and our grandchildren, our children's children are like, man, like that's dope. And that's how you become timeless, right? Because I don't care if 3 generations removed from now, bravery will still be something that you have to learn while you're on Earth.
Yeah.
While you're in your spacesuit. Love will still be something you have to learn. Courage will still be facing your fears. Those are things that don't go away. And I am intentional that we're leaving a legacy of doing that and creating from that. And I said something earlier, and I want to go back. I said, if millions of people hear this or not. No, we want millions of people to get this message. We do. We know that we are messengers and conduits for this, and we want millions of people to get the fact that you are a soul in a spacesuit. You were born into this package. Like, our packages look differently, but we're really all the same underneath. You were born into this spacesuit, and you're here to do a mission. You're here to live a life of beauty and love and healing, and you are supposed to do something great while you're in your spacesuit. And the crazy part about it, like if you think of the setup of the game of life, is you have no clue when you're going to leave your spacesuit. That's a crazy game. Like, if you just think about the game, like we're all in a game. Like,
well, you got to fill that suit with as many different aspects of yourself in a very unspecific amount of time.
You have to feel life with it. You
You have to feel life with it.
Yeah,
yes.
Everything you need is already inside of your spacesuit. But you have to be brave enough to self-excavate, is a term that I really love. Like, it's all about self-excavation. You have to, going back to that diving deep and digging deep, to bring out, to give the gifts. But just think about the setup of life. Like, that's so crazy. Like if you just think about a game. Listen, I'm going to put you in a suit. I'm going to send you to a planet. Just don't worry about it. It's going to be great. You're going to be born. You're going to have this thing called birthday. And then you're going to have this thing called the day you die. You have no idea when the day you die is coming. None. No clue. But while you're in your spacesuit, I want you to like live it to the max. I want you to go to the max, and you got to figure out what the max is. Like, it's wild, but it's also really cool. Like, I actually think being human is really cool if you think about it like that. Like, I don't know how much time I have, but while I'm here, I should get up every day and be the very best version of myself.
Well, and that goes back to, you made me think about it. I wasn't planning on talking about it, but like me reformatting a lot of the content for this podcast, right? So like, first off, Richard, thank you, buddy, and I'm glad this is inspiring for you, my man. So when I talk, the life part is what got me. the life part of the sporting life, right? Like the sporting people, okay, there's activity, there's something that you're doing, but the life part, why the paintings, right? Why the music? Why the deeper conversation? Why expounding beyond more than just bird dogs? Why didn't we just do it? Because that is not the only aspect of life that we are bringing to the table.
And it's not the only aspect of your soul.
Right. And so with this is Ramon. Oh, what's up, Ramon? How's it going, buddy? Thank you for joining. This thing that we call life, like we're blessed that we get up, right? And you know, for not too long ago, we were waking up to a horse and dogs and this and that, and
we sold our horse. You have to give people context.
People know I sold my horse.
We sold our horse. But I'm saying like.
Oh yeah, I sold my horse. So, but even still, like, yeah, I mean it's sad, but like we still wake up to really beautiful sunrises over the patio, right? Cutting in, and you know, the freedom for me to go hunt whenever I need to go to, but then also still be present for my kids. You know, you be present for them, being able to show, like, we have this thing called life, and we've opened up a vast amount of freedom within it. But within that freedom, there's still the connection, there's still the means to connect all the pieces of who you are. The Sporting Life notebook, the Sporting Life brand, that in and of itself is one very large canvas for me. And it's a canvas that affords you the opportunity to break into the community through dogs, right? Through history, through research. And those parts are so very, very, very important. They will always be important. But people are spending a lot of money guiding with me. So let's show these people who I am, who you are, right? They're coming out for an experience. No one goes to American Soil, American Soul, the first one or the upcoming second one. No one is coming to or should expect to come to any of our shows and not expect a full experience, a 1,000% comprehensive experience of who we are in that moment or leading up to those moments. And I think that's important. For me, we all identify by the things that we have, right? Like, I identify through my dogs. I identify, hell, by the damn guitar that I'm playing. You know, I identify through, you know, the truck and the hats. And there are things that we do to cultivate who we are, the image and the story that we want to push out. And again, I'm going to throw this back on you. You're allowing people to reframe and recontextualize themselves in a very, very, very powerful and technologically advanced suit in order to challenge and charge them to force themselves into the unknown, knowing that this suit, this body, this composition that they are is now fully equipped to do so.
Right, and you're born equipped. Okay, a couple things. You said a couple things. I just want to give a little context. So we're selling the horse because we travel so much for work, and it's better for the horse to.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you're going to Sincola, we gonna see him, but yeah.
I mean, yes, we sold it to Sincola, but my point, I just want to share that because we love our horse, and it's been very sad for me particularly. But it's just easier. Of course, we have someone come and look after our animals when we're traveling for work, but horses are connection creatures, and he needs that daily connection. So that's why we're selling the horse. But back to what you were saying, you said a couple of really amazing things. How the Sporting Life is a canvas for you. Mm-hmm. And so just going back to that motif of having a blank canvas. So every day we're looking at a blank new page. When you wake up, every day you're looking at a blank page. You're looking at a blank canvas or wide open space. We're going back to those same motifs. Right. And in order to fill it, you have to trust your path. You have to trust what's inside of your spacesuit. And so that's what the Sporting Life brand is about. That is what we do. That's American Soil, American Soul. Like, we believe so much in not only our individual stories, but when you start looking at people as souls in spacesuits, man, you can't help but to believe in every individual's path. I don't care who you are. I don't have to know you. I know that you are so important to the tapestry of life and to the tapestry of human history. I know that there's something so beautiful and incredible inside of your soul that you were called to give to this earth. I know that for sure. For sure. And I know that anybody that's brave enough to sell those seeds and self-excavate and bring that forth, man, I want to see what you have to give. And that's what we give all of our work. That's what we give American Soul, American Soul. Like, because for us right now, if you look at what we're in, the two most important issues of our time are inclusion and conservation. That's just the truth. I know I've said it till I'm blue in the face, but it's true. We do have to find a better way to relate to one another as people. We do have to find another way to be more responsible with how we impact the earth so that generations that come after us can live out their dreams too. So we have to find a way to have these conversations and come up with solutions. And American Soul is another birth of that. And we came up with that title. And it's funny when there's duality there. When you are an artist and you come back to something and you give a show, you exhibit every year. What's cool about it is that we grow with the show. So last year was our inaugural year of American Soul, and it was very much so about, okay, if we're truly going to change the way people think about the environment, and if we're truly going to raise awareness around how people can take better care of our natural resources, then we have to figure out different ways to connect people to the land, which we do that in all of our work, right? Whether it's MOA or Sporting Life or He's Guiding, whatever it is, that's what we do. But when we're talking about exhibiting it through our art, what does that look like? And so that's where we started, and that's how we got the title American Soul, American Soul. Well, the soul of our nation, really, if you look at it, but there is a president that said that America's most important monuments are our landscapes and our natural resources. And when you start to really explore it, you'll see that like our landscapes are absolutely stunning. And it's the one thing that we can actually, unite over. Well, one of the things. And so we started with this idea of how can we connect more souls to the soil. And as we're exploring it this year, as we're exploring our title and getting ready for our show on December 6th, be there
in Thomasville,
Georgia,
yep.
Which we're so excited about. How cool is it for those who've been following Darrell's journey for quite some time? Thomasville is like the birthplace, like it's his origin story. So it's so cool. And we're going to even talk about that, like your willingness to go find the soil there. We'll be exploring that at the show. But we're discovering, even with American Soul there, like you really have been the person to pound the soil, to excavate the soil. And I'm really like the person that's excavating the soul of it, and we're bringing it together and putting on this beautiful show. So we hope to see y'all there. It's going to be so good. I'm really excited to share this with the world.
Well, and this piece will actually be in it.
This piece sold ahead of the exhibition.
It's already sold.
Which we're very grateful for, but it's so good. And one thing that's really cool is I'm about the way. Oh, you want me to move?
No. You were talking. I just didn't want it to be in the way.
One thing that's really cool about the art is that we're able to sit with it in our home before we exhibit it, which we love. And well, it's like a two-edged thing, because I super fall in love with it. We have to let it go.
And but just real quick, keep talking. I'm gonna just show the entire piece.
Yeah, no, you should.
There you go.
But yeah, so we really love this piece. It will be at the show, but it's already sold. And we really hope to see y'all on December 6th.
It's at Grassroots Coffee.
At Grassroots Coffee in Thomasville, Georgia. And for me, I'm going to actually let that be my outro, because I have to take a little girl to dance. So,
give us some spacesuits, something, before you leave. Give me something. Give them a mic drop moment.
Souls in spacesuits. Give them a mic drop moment. My mic drop moment would be if you woke up every day and decided and remembered exactly who you are. And that is that you are brilliant beyond measure. and that you are a part of a bigger story, something greater than you could ever imagine. And if you trust your path and trust yourself,
keep going.
You'll blow your own mind. So that's my impromptu mic drop moment. My husband, who's now playing la guitarra. This is our ending.
No, that's your ending. That was your outro music.
I thought you were gonna do this all right.
Oh, you want to do that? We can do that.
Ready?
Yeah, we can. It's not all the way in tune, but it'll be reasonable.
Or you have to tune?
Nah, let's see. It's all right. That's the title of the song. All right, I guess we can end right there. It was a pretty dope conversation, and I actually want to.
Dope human. I love you.
You're a dope human yourself. All y'all are dope people. All right, so this is a song that Ashley and I are actually working on.
But we actually made it up on the spot. Literally, it was completely spontaneous.
I was practicing something and it kind of just turned into it. So we are going to record an official, like, polished version of it. But this is kind of the thing. Again, some of y'all have been listening to the podcast and the show. You've probably seen clips of it in the beginning. But
When you walk through the starry light, with you by my side, and I know that everything's gonna be alright. Y'all stay right there. You don't have on clothes. Our kids are here. Mama.
and we going out.
And they don't have on any clothes. And this is live, so bye. Alright, ready for breakfast.
That was funny. Man. Welcome to Saturday mornings at the Smith household. Thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate all of y'all for tuning in. We're going to keep doing this on Saturday. Yeah, if you liked it, let me know what you guys, how y'all were feeling the show. Shane just logged in, but we're logging out. But everyone, thank y'all for tuning in. And we are going to go and be parents and get these kiddos to dance and all the other things that we have to do. Again, thank y'all for tuning in. Look for in the next Saturday, and look for this episode on the podcast and on the YouTube channel as well. Thanks so much, folks. Shane, don't worry about it. I got you. I'm loading it in shortly. I'll have it up this way. So if y'all are logging in, I'm logging out, but it will be on here. Thank y'all for all the hearts and likes and things like that, and we'll catch y'all on the flip side.